They wear smiles like masks. They shake your hand while counting your weakness. They call it love, respect, friendship, but behind their eyes is calculation. Life doesn't get easier, you get stronger. But first, you learn to see. There are people around you right now who are not who they pretend to be. You think you're being kind. You think you're giving them a chance. But they are measuring how far they can push you before you break. You were raised to trust, to forgive, to explain yourself. But Machiavelli knew better. He knew power. He knew darkness. And he knew that in this world, the naive do not survive. This isn't about being paranoid. This is about being prepared. Because if you don't learn the signs of bad people, you won't notice until your soul is bleeding and your dreams are burning. There are signs, clear as blood on snow, if you have the courage to look. Let me show you. The first sign: they charm too quickly. Machiavelli warned, beware of those who rush closeness. They flatter. They mimic your beliefs. They agree with everything. They act like they've known you for years, when it's only been weeks. Why? Because they don't want connection. They want control. And connection takes time. But control? That comes from false trust. Think of Caesar. He trusted Brutus. He let him too close. And in the end, he fell not from an enemy, but from a friend. Bad people understand this psychology. They know that real strength can't be forced, but it can be manipulated. So what do? Slow down. Make people earn your trust. Watch how they act when you say no. That's the truth test. Bad people love the word yes. They disappear when no enters the room. That brings us to the second sign. They never take responsibility. They're always the victim. Every failure, someone else's fault. Every broken relationship, they were crazy. They never own their part. Because to own it would mean admitting they're not perfect. And perfection is their costume. Take that away, and they're exposed. Machiavelli said it best. The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. Look around you. If someone constantly blames others, mocks accountability, and rewrites history, they are dangerous, not because they're evil, but because they're cowards. And cowardice cloaked in charm is lethal. Real strength is the man who says, yes, I failed. I'll fix it. That's the man you trust. That's the man you follow into war. But these people, they want power without price, control without confrontation. So they lie.to themselves, and eventually, they become their own illusion. Let me ask you, how many people in your life fit this pattern? Too many. You're not alone. And it's not your fault. You were conditioned to tolerate what should have been condemned. Taught to forgive before you understood the wound. That's over now. You're not here to be liked. You're here to build a fortress. A mind so disciplined, so sharp, that no snake slithers past it unnoticed. That's where we begin. Starting today, you stop ignoring your gut. Your instinct is not paranoid. It's ancestral intelligence. It's thousands of years of survival whispering. This is not safe. You owe it to yourself to listen. If someone flatters you too fast, pause. If someone avoids blame, pause. If your body feels uneasy around them, pause. Because here's the forbidden truth: good people don't always win. The strong don't always survive. It's the aware, the ones who see through masks, who sharpen their mind like a blade. They are the ones who walk away whole. So the next time someone steps into your life like they've known you forever, hold your ground, speak less, watch more, because real strength doesn't chase approval, it demands respect. Your mind is being trained for war, mental war, spiritual war, emotional war, and the first battle is recognizing the enemy wearing a friendly face. You're not paranoid. You're prepared. You're not cold. You're calculating. You're not cruel. You're cautious. Because every empire that fell did so from the inside first. And you are not here to fall. You are here to conquer. Part 2 is where we go deeper. We'll uncover the silent manipulators, the guilt dealers, the ones who use kindness as a cage, and we'll train you to break free, permanently. But for now, let this truth echo through your mind: not everyone who smiles at you is a friend, and not every fight is fought with fists. Some are fought with silence, with boundaries, with walking away. Your mind is your fortress. Build it brick by brick, and watch the fake ones crumble in the distance. You will face storms, betrayals wrapped in pleasantries, smiles with daggers tucked beneath them. But if you build your mind like a fortress, they can't touch you. Let's keep building. You've seen the charmers. You've seen the victims. But now we enter darker territory. The third sign of a bad person: they make you doubt yourself. Understand this: a manipulator doesn't need to hurt you physically. They break you by bending your reality. It starts subtly. You remember something they said, but now they deny it. You feel something's off, but they laugh it off, call you too sensitive. You try to express yourself, and they twist it, blame you, make you apologize. This isn't miscommunication. It's gaslighting. Machiavelli wrote, "Men are driven by two things, fear and self-interest." Gaslighting is both. They want you fearful, so you hesitate. And they want control, so they shift your focus inward. They steal your confidence one seed of doubt at a time. So how do you stop it? You create an unshakable inner reference point. You trust your memory. You document patterns. You stop defending yourself to liars. Here's the rule: when someone consistently makes you question your own sanity, you don't explain harder. You walk away faster. You're not crazy. You're being manipulated. And the only antidote is mental clarity sharpened by truth. Now we move to the fourth sign: they weaponize your emotions. Bad people don't just observe your feelings, they hijack them. They learn your triggers, your insecurities, your wounds, and then they use them, strategically. They know how to cry when they're caught. They know how to turn a confrontation into a guilt trip. They know how to make your pain look like they're suffering. This is not weakness. This is psychological warfare. Machiavelli advised princes to appear virtuous but be ruthless within. That's what they do. They pretend to care, but their empathy is a tool, never a truth. They don't care about how you feel. They care about how they can use how you feel. If your guilt is their shield, they win. If your kindness becomes your leash, they win. You stop that by removing your emotions from their control panel. Here's how: don't respond to tears. Respond to patterns. Don't answer accusations. Ask yourself, is this person consistent over time? And most importantly, don't try to fix people who refuse to fix themselves. You are not a rehab for emotionally manipulative minds. You are a fortress, and fortresses do not lower their gates for chaos. You need to understand, your empathy is your power, but only when it's guarded. Unprotected empathy is an open wound, and bad people, they feed on it. It's time for the fifth sign: they isolate you. Watch for this. They subtly pull you away from your friends, your family, your anchors, not with chains, but with whispers. They don't understand you. They're jealous of us. You don't need anyone else. And before you know it, you're alone, and they own your reality. This is strategic. It's ancient. Divide and conquer. Machiavelli knew that to maintain control, a ruler had to isolate threats. This is no different. You are the threat, your clarity, your community, your power. So they chip away at it, bit by bit, until you're surrounded only by their influence. Here's how you counter it. Stay grounded in multiple sources of truth. Keep your friendships alive. Talk to people outside the circle of influence. If someone tries to isolate you, ask yourself is it protection or control? The answer will always reveal the intent. And never forget, bad people don't remove you from others because they love you. They do it because they fear losing power over you. So let's review: charm without depth, victimhood without accountability. Doubt sowing. Emotion hijacking, isolation tactics. That's not a relationship. That's a hostile takeover. And if you're watching this right now and feeling something crack open inside, good. That's your instinct waking up. That's your inner warrior stretching after a long, blind sleep. You are not crazy. You are not weak. You are not too sensitive. You were lied to, used, baited with love, and hooked by guilt. But that ends today. Because now, you see. In part 3, we go deeper. We expose the final truths: the predators hiding in plain sight, the way to reverse the damage, and how to rebuild your mind into something even betrayal cannot touch. This is the war for your clarity, and you are not retreating. Your pain is not your identity. Your silence is not your submission. Your mind is your sword, and it's only just beginning to sharpen. You've seen the shadows. Now it's time to burn them. We don't just identify the enemy. We evolve beyond them. This is not about survival anymore. This is about dominance, mental, emotional, spiritual. This is about becoming the one they can't manipulate, can't move, can't break. You want to become that person? Then listen carefully. Because this next sign is the silent killer. The sixth sign of a bad person. They punish your boundaries. You draw a line, and suddenly they go cold. You say, no, and suddenly you're difficult, ungrateful, selfish. This is not conflict. This is control resistance. They're testing you, not for truth, not for balance, but for obedience. See, bad people thrive in emotional anarchy. They live for blurred lines, shifting definitions. Because where there are no boundaries, they are kings. But the second you say, I will not tolerate this, they feel threatened, not because you're wrong, but because you're finally right. Machiavelli taught that to rule, you must suppress rebellion before it takes form. That's why they strike. When you finally assert yourself, they don't hate your tone. They hate your clarity. They hate your refusal to play the game anymore. So what do? You hold the line. And no matter how hard they rage, guilt, twist, or retreat, you do not move. Because every time you hold your boundary, you reclaim territory inside your own mind, and every time you cave, you give them a map to your weakness. From this moment forward, let it be known, you are not available for emotional blackmail. You do not negotiate with chaos. You are a fortress, and fortresses don't beg for peace. Let's move. The seventh sign, they mirror your soul, until they no longer need you. This is the predator's final tactic. They study you. They become your perfect match, your ideal companion, your mental soulmate. But it's not real. It's mimicry. A performance. A counterfeit version of love, loyalty, friendship. And the moment they get what they want, status, attention, validation, they shift. Cold, distant, cruel. You're left confused, asking, what did I do wrong? But you did nothing wrong. They were never real. You were in a hall of mirrors, and they were just reflecting you back to yourself. Understand this. True connection grows slowly. It survives disagreement. It deepens through discomfort. Fake connection, it vanishes the second you stop being useful. Machiavelli warned us. Everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are. That's what they exploit, your hunger to be understood. But they never understood you. They only studied you. So what now? You stop being impressed by perfect compatibility. You trust behavior over words. You watch who stays when you're no longer easy to please. Because that is the real face behind the mask. And now we come to the final and most haunting truth. The eighth and final sign. They make you become someone you don't recognize. This one hits deepest. Because by the time you notice it, you've already started losing yourself. You catch yourself lying to avoid conflict. You shrink your light to keep the peace. You walk on eggshells around a person you once admired. You doubt your voice. You question your worth. And when you look in the mirror, you no longer see a warrior. You see a hostage. This is not just a red flag. It's a soul alarm. A siren in your bones screaming. This is not who you are. Because bad people don't just break things. They reshape you, slowly, secretly, skillfully, until you forget the sound of your own power. But here's the twist. And you need to hear this like your life depends on it. You can come back. You can reclaim your voice. You can rebuild your identity. You can become even stronger than you were before the manipulation. Because pressure doesn't just crush, it carves. You have been carved by fire. And now you're pure steel. In the final part, we will finish the transformation. You will learn the mental habits that make you immune to these people forever. The final shift from victim to guardian. From survivor to silent storm, you will walk into rooms they rule, and they will feel it. But for now, remember this, you were not broken, you were forged. And no matter how deep they buried your truth, it was never lost. Only waiting. The masks are off now, the games are over. The warrior is waking up. And next, we crown the mind unbreakable. You don't need revenge. You need resurrection. And it begins now. You've seen the signs. You've felt the poison. You've carried the shame, the silence, the self-doubt. But that version of you, the one who tolerated what should have been confronted, is gone, buried, and in its place rises a new mind. A mind no longer begging for peace, but building it. A mind that doesn't fear being alone, because solitude sharpens steel. A mind no longer asking, "Why did they do this to me?" but instead declares, "They'll never do it again." That's power. That's the shift. That's where the true warrior is born. But let's seal it with habits. Simple, ruthless, unbreakable. The first habit: pause before you give. You were conditioned to be generous, to be open. But bad people use that impulse as a gateway. From now on, you pause, you evaluate, you ask, has this person earned access to my energy? If not, they get nothing. No explanations. No defense. No guilt. Because your energy is not a public resource. It's sacred territory. Second habit: listen more than you speak. Not everyone deserves to know what you think, what you feel, what you want. Bad people gather intel to manipulate. Silence starves their strategy. You speak with purpose. You don't explain your no. You don't justify your standards. You let your boundaries speak for you. Third habit: document patterns, not promises. Words lie. Patterns. Don't doubt if someone says they've changed, but acts the same. Believe the action. Bad people are masters of apology. Masters of "I'll do better." Masters of emotional resets. But what they can't fake is consistency. So you track what they do, not what they say. And if the pattern is pain, you cut. Without ceremony. Without closure. Without looking back. Because warriors don't need closure from cowards. They need forward momentum, always. Fourth habit: protect your peace like it's a kingdom. You don't answer every call. You don't respond to every message. You don't show up to every invitation. Why? Because not every battle is worthy of your blade. Sometimes the strongest move is silence. Sometimes the boldest statement is absence. Sometimes the greatest revenge is outgrowing them. And finally, the most elite habit of all: trust your darkness. The part of you that sees through manipulation. The part of you that doesn't want to forgive right away. The part of you that says, "No more chances." You were taught to bury that part. To be nice. To be patient. To give infinite benefit of the doubt. But your darkness is your ally. It's not evil. It's instinct. It's the voice that says, "This doesn't feel right. This person is dangerous. I need to walk away." And from this day forward, you listen. Because that darkness? It's not here to destroy. It's here to protect. Let me tell you something they'll never teach you in therapy, in school, in society. You don't owe anyone access to you, not your family, not your history, not your past. If someone violates your spirit, you cut. Without warning, without apology. And you rise. Alone, if you must. But unchained. Because the old you tolerated poison disguised as love. But the new you sip nothing you didn't pour. Yourself. So here's the final command. Build your mind like a kingdom. Guard it with fire. Surround it with warriors. Flood it with truth. And never, never, let manipulators sit on your throne again. Because this isn't just a video. This is a decision. You either go back to being used, or forward into being untouchable. Decide. Right here. Right now. Comment below if you felt the truth in your bones. Like this if you're done being a target. Subscribe to Mind Fortress. Because this is where the war ends and your reign begins. Your mind is your greatest fortress. Build it unbreakable. And let the world learn, the hard way, that you can no longer be broken.